Men of Reddit, what is the craziest reaction you've had when you rejected a girl's advances? Story 1. My ex-girlfriend showed up at my apartment at 2 a.m., completely drunk, telling me she needed to sleep it off at my house. Being that I didn't want to see her harm herself or someone else driving, I let her crash in my bed and I took the couch. As I am trying to sleep, she wanders out of the living room, completely undressed, telling me she wants me to come to bed. I told her that I will absolutely not sleep in bed with her, and that whatever she had in mind would not be happening. Being that she was not a very rational woman while we were together and she was sober, it escalated to her screaming at me and how I was going to regret denying her. At one point, she mentions that unless I come to bed with her, she is going to contact the police and tell them I raped her. I take this time to grab my car keys and leave immediately with her screaming at me all the way down the stairs. I decided to sleep at my dad's and not return to the apartment. Luckily, she never tried anything and never contacted me again. Last I heard, she was living across the country. Story 2. Had been working at a new bar for a couple of months, and one of the waitresses who had a rep for sleeping with new doormen gets hammered and can't drive home. I take her home, walk her into her house, put her on the couch, and put a blanket over her. As I'm leaning down, putting the blanket over her, she grabs my shirt and tries pulling me down to kiss her. I tell her she's drunk, so no thanks. And then she proceeds to tell everyone at work I'm gay for the next 6 months because I wouldn't take advantage of her while she was drunk. Story 3. You think I'm ugly, so I'm going to delete myself. No, I am exhausted from your texts, fighting with me while I am at work, doing work at work, and dealing with you being sad because I want 20 minutes to myself, and your previous half-dozen self-deletion threats today. Story 4. So, I don't know what was up with this girl, but she wanted in my pants probably more than was healthy. I turned her down on several occasions and usually she accepted it with grace and composure. I never ended up sleeping with her, and one day when I was propositioned by her, she just freaked out, and what went from a weird friendship turned into full-out tantrum on me. Her saying that I was leading her on this whole time, making her think I wanted to date her, keeping her out of the dating world, and basically just being a dick. I was later explained by one of our mutual friends that she apparently thought that I was being nice to her because I liked her, and that I teamed with her online because I wanted to go on dates with her. Turned out, she had this whole relationship fantasy about us that was never real, and I was oblivious to it the whole time. Story 5. After being rejected, she bent forward and said very loudly, "Do you want to my crotch?" Story 6. I got a 45-minute lecture about how that makes her feel terrible about her body, and how I'm basically emotionally abusing her by not wanting to have sex with her. We're no longer together, thankfully. Story 7. Apparently, it made me a terrible person for making her feel unwanted on such a level, because I just didn't want to at that moment. Story 8. Happened about 8 years ago. She blackmailed me into sleeping with her by saying if I don't sleep with her, she will start screaming, saying that I was trying to rape her. In context, I brought her to her room, which is in the girls' dorm, cause she's been drinking and it was 3 a.m. at night. I slept with her, but in the morning after, she said she doesn't remember what happened and apologized for blackmailing me. But the feeling that I was forced to have sex never left me for a long time. Broke off her contact after some time, cause every time I see her, I remember that awful feeling that just makes me hate myself even more. Story 9. I had two notable occasions. Both occurred in my old job. I used to go away for conferences and training, etc., relatively often. On both occasions, the reason I turned the sex down was because I was already married at that point. The first time I was staying in a hotel while away for a training course. A lady also on the course was in the same hotel, so we arranged to eat together as is normal practice, networking, etc. She ended up propositioning me. I basically ran off. It was awkward for the rest of the course. The second occasion was similar when I was away, but this time the lady barged into my room and spent the evening trying to tempt me. Eventually she lost it, shouted I was gay, etc. Then finally left. She, to be fair, was absolutely breathtaking. I doubt anyone had ever said no to her before, so I understand her not dealing with it that well. Story 10. The worst reaction I've had was getting called and then berated because real men would have slept with her already. And one other girl just never responded to a text or call again after I said I don't want to rush things. Most women are chill though. Story 11. I wasn't feeling the mood and wanted to hang out. We smoked and she offered me head. I said no. She then asked if I just wanted to have sex. I said no, so she became withdrawn into her phone and then asked me to leave. Story 12. She gave me a kiss, went into the bedroom, and played with herself. Story 13. Twice refused. The first time she was an absolute stunner, but also far too drunk to know what she was doing, so a big no. That ended with her being kicked out of the club for grabbing me. The second time I politely declined, as I wasn't interested in her that way. We remain solid friends to this day. Story 14. It was someone I worked with, which is an automatic no for me. Plus, my wife doesn't want to share me. She ended up with a coworker who was also married. When the relationship soured, she called his wife, told HR he was harassing her, and pretty much trashed his life. Good call on my part, I think. Story 15. It was the last day in my hometown for about 3 to 4 months. I was going to university, and I had planned to meet with a girl to pretty much sleep with her. My best friend, though, invited me to play CSGO with him at an internet cafe. Since it was my last day there for a while, I'd rather spend it with a friend. So I called her and told her I couldn't make it, and she was super mad because she thought I was going with another girl. But in reality, I just wanted to play some Counter-Strike. Story 16. Turned down one of my best friends of 6 years. She at one point told me if we ever had sex, we wouldn't be friends anymore. I took that to heart. Clear boundaries in relationships are a good thing, and I wasn't willing to give up a 6-year friendship just for one night of sex. I think I was the first one to ever tell her no. She actively told our entire friend group I tried to sleep with her and was weird. Since most of our friend group started as her friend group, I lost a massive amount of great acquaintances. She recently tried to reignite the friendship 2 years later, but the trust is gone. She was one of the best friends I ever had and was a genuinely amazing person until the point of me turning her down. Story 17. In our 20s, I and my friends like to hit up this local dive bar. Drinks were poured strong and cheap, decent beer selection, and were not crowded at all. Since it was a bit divey, we were usually the youngest by a generation. This one night, this old woman that was either experimenting with the wet hair look or was getting her hair wet every 10 minutes, not entirely sure, took a drunken liking to me. After I refused her a few times, she says something like, "If you don't loosen up, you will be a virgin forever." Pulls her shirt up to flash me, as a "look what you're missing, I guess," and stormed off. The bartender poured me a free one, so I got a beer out of it at least. Story 18. In college, had a few trysts that ended badly. Decided to take it slow on the next one. Hung out with a girl one Saturday while we were both pretty drunk. Made out on my bed. She started taking her clothes off and I said, "Not yet." She screamed at me. She said that I basically told her that she was hideous. She never talked to me again. Spread rumors that I was. Every time I would meet a new woman, she would meet with them privately and lie about me. Didn't really have much luck with ladies for the rest of college. Story 19. She started pouting and said, "Fine, then I'm going to stop sending you pictures and talking dirty to you." I said, "That's probably a good idea. I don't think your boyfriend would like you doing that anyway. Now, can we please just watch Flubber? Or I'll go home. Your call." After seeing I was annoyed, she tried the "I'm sorry" route and started trying to cuddle up and undo my belt again. I said, apparently we couldn't be friends, and went home and finished watching Flubber alone. Story 20. I feel like women take rejection personally when it has nothing to do with them. Sometimes it has everything to do with them. Sometimes it's just us. We're tired. We do not feel the best mentally or emotionally. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and activate the bell button to receive notifications to my latest videos.